La, da, da. Welcome back, guys. This is Maxim Grunin at Maxim Grunin Art doing demo, continuing the landscape painting. Let's quickly introduce what is happening right now on your screen. This is a zoom in to detail, and I mixed like a dark purple using black and red and a little bit of white, and now with a thin small brush I am kind of drawing back into the bottom areas where the trees are touching the ground, and that's like a deep area of shadow and on the bottom information. However, it's really important, and it was quite generally marked or indicated before, and now that the painting is moving towards details and towards completion, I am just giving other variants of dark to the surface, and so that there is a movement from black or really dark tree trunks towards somewhat lighter variations of also dark information, and that information is like shadows, the little grass blades under the trees, the shadows under the trees, how do the trees connect to the ground. And this is purely painterly notion with linear or with these diverse little brush strokes. I am building a continuous kind of shape that will help connect and organize that visual information on the bottom there. Also introducing middle dark, mid-tone, a bit lighter variations for the tree trunks. They've been just flat, and their shapes have been designed, but they really could use a little bit more meat on the bones, in the way of there's some I can see some information on the bark of the tree. So viewers' associative thinking would be, all right, these trees have lighter and darker and info, and they have a bark, and they have a character, and there's something happening there. And now I am getting into building a lot more rich information within the foreground area, the area of shadow that sits under the trees, that long horizontal areas stretching from horizontally. That has been roughed in and blocked in roughly, and that also can come to life now that I am plunging into the developing of some more detail within each area of the canvas. So there is going to be information per square inch on the entire rectangle, on the entire painting, and within the shadow there is going to be less information. However, it's really nice, and it's rich, and it's engaging to bring forward, maybe through beautifully arranged brush marks, variations of different colors, maybe through the working with the palette knife and like kind of disturbing these carefully painted brush marks and kind of abstracting and expressing a little more. So this area is going to come to life a little bit, and it's going to suggest to the eye that there is greenery, growth, vegetation, grass, something is happening there. This is information that is expressing to the associative abstract thinking of the viewer that, oh, I am the ground beneath the trees, and within me, within that shadow, there is color, there is variance of lighter and darker information. There are expressive swirls and brush marks and palette knife marks. So those are purely painterly components. And then all of a sudden, after a little while, we are able to see it flip into this impression of actually seeing grass. And that's the brain, the mind, is designed to move to the associations that, so if I am to make horizontal and grassy kind of little brush strokes, the brain will recognize my attempts. And I like to create kind of expressive and active and rich color and shape and form surface that suggests it's not realistically formed, these grass blades. This is formed through expressive brush stroke, light and dark, and color information, as well as the choice of the mark. The marks are small, mid-size, big, they are elongated or short, they are vertical or horizontal or diagonal, etc. So all of this is the painterly information that I am now building right into this shadow surface on the bottom. And here's how I'm doing it precisely. I am mixing the colors, and then I am going in to kind of feel it out with that little stick, with the little brush. I am not so sure yet. I'm looking, I'm searching for these little pathways of lighter or more colorful information. How will I exactly land these elements? And I start out with just getting feelers with this little brush. I'm like, blob of green here, blob of brown over there. Yeah, let's mess it up with the palette knife. Oh, at some point I got a really nice little area that agrees with my taste, that I am happy about, and I am saying, oh, I'm going to kind of, in that same mode, I'm going to travel across canvas and do up the rest of, and then maybe I'll even find another clue, another key little element that will help me unlock the next array of combinations of these little marks. And with painting, from the school that I learned from, looking for diverse, rich, and new, like, something that I haven't done before. Like, let's push the envelope a little. Let's create beyond my repetitivity. I can keep chalking the same result out, replicating the result, or I can take it further into the unknown. And yeah, it's good to base on something that works, but also it's really nice, according to the school of art that is available to me, is to not to set limits to the research. And so here we go, play, work, put in some energy, and construct these surfaces. There is I'm building some transition from dark to the light area by mixing lighter colors, more bright colors. I am not yet getting the highest highlights in, but I am already juggling between the areas of light and dark, and I am marrying them with complex edge. So how does the light area touch the lower dark area? It touches it like so, with jagged, soft, elongated, horizontal, messy, more organized brushstrokes, and they work together. So and yeah, demonstrating, invest time, definitely. This is, I take a video and then I switch the camera off, and I invest another whole bunch of time to work through an area. And this is, it's like add a little bit, fix whatever doesn't work, learn from, combine my experience and education with my own practice, and like move the process along. But this is spending time and investing energy, definitely. The color palette, in the dark it's yellow and black with a tiny bit of white, to get the different kinds of these, like natural kind of olivey greens. And there is also reds and purples, and what else, gray, and like a handful or more, like 5 or more, like let's go and make it look rich. And then within the light it's much, like almost no black, and like yellow plus red with white, different variations of orange, different variations of lighter greens, also lighter purples. I kind of like the way that purple looked. And here, guys, we just started looking at the reference, a quick glimpse on my computer screen to what I'm looking at. And so it's really general, it's not even like a thing, but it gives me an idea of what I'm kind of painting and what my general idea is. And now I'm already mixing highlights. So I looked at the picture every time, kind of, the picture is my reference picture is as like the idea, it's the idea, but the painting I'm making has its own merit. That picture wouldn't look good if I was to copy it into a painting. It would, I don't know, like I'm not particular, so I want like more diversity, and it's, yeah, so so here let's just move to this task. And I mixed, I'm moving into the highlights and the light areas, and I mixed white with yellow, and later, so I'm giving myself a variety of the most highlight colors that there are, except no pure white just yet. And again, and this is kind of going towards completion now. The painting has been taken this far, and now detailing is coming in, and that involves a lot of adjusting dark to mid-tone to finally to the light, the mass of light And so I am designing the highlight or the light see-through area through the trees far back. And again, I am kind of carefully, so my strategy is this: the shape of light, any shape of, shape of this new addition, it relies on my ability to design these free abstract shapes that have diverse look, like diverse form. At the most simple way of looking at it, this diverse form comes about by making larger, mid-size, and small shapes that are positioned on different angles. This information is gathered from reference, but it's also combined with experience. And so I create this kind of a puzzle of shapes that little by little form into this overall free form, like a silhouette of the light. And then I am getting into it with a palette knife to flatten and to spread the paint some more, so that I can produce even more expressive, even more rough, kind of painterly mark surface. So this is like a conversation between me, between the reference that I'm gathering from the picture that I'm looking at, and my conversation is, I am moving the paint in such way. And we can see over there in front of us what exactly I am doing. However, it becomes a lot more fluent with more experience and with more education and with more involvement and with consistency of efforts. So let's get painting. Let's mess a bunch of canvases up. Let's find out how you can create using these methods. There's gotta be some clues that I'm putting forward. However, I cannot give you the entire fix. Like, I cannot download myself into your mind and let you access my experience that way. It has to be gradually gathered with keen interest by you from the evidence that I'm putting forward. And so now that the light is coming in, it's gotta come into like all areas, because it sits on top of the darker layers en masse, ENMASS, as a mass over top, thick, light, colorful information. It becomes more tangible, and it also becomes the meat, that those strokes are so meaty and thick that they are very vibrant with just interacting with the light. Just the light, the sunlight, the light in the room is going to reflect from these thick, light and colorful areas, thus moving them towards the front of the image. And that's how the visual physical moment works, is that the shadow is kind of thin and darker, and it sits underneath the light, supporting it, not being so reflective, being in the depth, being neutral, creating contrast, and then the light is the meaty part on top. So that meaty part is coming onto everything now. I am choosing the modality of brush strokes or paint marks to describe the foliage of the trees. Then I'm choosing another modality to describe the light hitting the ground. I'm choosing another modality to describe further back area, etc. Let's examine not just my work, but also work of other artists who you admire. Look at how diverse and intricate their surface is. There are minimalists, there are, different modalities of creating paintings, but for, let's say landscape painting, let's look at it. There is a lot of choice making that goes into designing this rich, colorful surface. So this is what I'm doing. I am digging in. Imagine that maybe those few areas that I showed in the video today, they were done in like an hour or two. But the painting is a fairly large, it's a good size canvas, like a 40 inches tall and a 50 inches wide canvas. And my ambition is to create like a substantial, rich, and investigate and enrich the painting. This is not, I'm not shorting myself or you or anyone the quality in the work. So, and that means that this painting is labor intensive. This is there they are, the 30, the 40 plus hours easily go into a project like this. So keep going, keep moving this paint over the surface. And I kind of like that my movement is it's almost, there's some like fairly abstract, like it's kind of raw, and the quality of the surface is it's not polished, like it's got satisfying roughness and satisfying like painterly, evocative, expressive quality to it. I like that. I want to stick to this mode throughout the painting. I keep thinking about a work of Manet. So there's Monet and Manet. One is they're French impressionists, but one is a figurative, and the other one is the landscape painter. So I'm talking about the landscape painter. Please take a look at Manet's work, especially the latest stuff, the lily ponds. He Now, most artists classically create some of their best work when they're, 50 and 50 plus. Unless they die young, then automatically they're great if they ever pop on the scene. But let's look at Manet and let's look at the lily ponds. And these are, a couple of meters, like more than that, like tall and across. Like these are big paintings, and they are on the verge of being abstract paintings. And that's the kind of surface, and that's a little bit of the kind of quality that I would like to have. I really admire that stuff, and it's been an inspiration for me for this painting. I paint in variety of styles just because I can. It's I'm an educated artist, so I have before university specialized art school, including like rigorous technical training in Russia where I was born. Then I have university undergraduate degree in fine art, painting, drawing and painting. And then I have a master's degree in Canada from a university, also in fine art, and that's I used it to work in the field of education. But I'm educated and I have experience, and I do quite a bit of art making, and I never really wanted to develop a particular unique style or be like a celebrated artist with a recognizable style, or so this doesn't appeal to me. But I'm seeing this as I love just making this. It's like I'm a technician, like a craftsman. I just love the craft, and so I craft variety of different styles, or I create in modalities that appeal to me, that make my heart sing. So definitely, my ambition is just like to keep this practice alive and to craft and to experience well-being from doing this, activity that's I'm just I love my little painting activity. I wouldn't give it up if I didn't. If I don't have to give it up, why would I give it up? Keep on painting. I get a little bit of feedback from you guys, and it's valuable because I can talk more about things that interest you. So I noticed that a lot of people watching my videos are people who have retired and took up painting or art as their choice of leisure activity, and that's so great. Like, here we go, I bring you cream of the crop of some of my education. And so I'd like to just, with the gestures that I'm making, I want to show you that now that I have information and depth invested and placed in that area and in that area. Now that has to really travel across the entire canvas. So I will go off and craft as much as possible, and I will show you the next.